Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I'm glad that every one of you is here watching, enjoying what's going on in the world. I was told quite a bit ago that maybe a lot of the things that I say aren't really just that, right about a lot of things. There ain't going to be a lot of, you know, uh, forecasts that previously I thought were going to be right or incredibly accurate, but maybe not. And I was just told, um, hold on a second. Let's see what happens in the world because there are a lot of things that are changing, and there are things that are going to be different. There are things that are going to be changing. So what happens is quite simple. On one bookend and the other bookend, there's a stamp of predictable events that can happen within the a spectrum that is measurable in a lots of ways, but don't really go to an extreme. They intertwine with each other, intertwine with each other better um, than you think. Right? They don't really pull apart from each other too much. As you think, there's a separation, but there isn't. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that you're worried and you're concerned and you're just happen to be, you know, curious as what the future holds for you. And it's not bad, right? I mean, they're individuals that have a full cup where they can accept new things, right? That's beyond them. Now, there's some that are not quite, they're fully on board, but they're just not certain about the way things are going. They need they need an option. You've been given an option for you to move ahead in life. Think about it. If someone says, your group, you guys are great, you're bad, but not the worst. You can move up to the line and enjoy more of the good things that are coming in. You're going to be in someone else's shadow. You're going to be set aside. There's going to be blinders over your eyes, and you're just going to have to hang on and say, okay, we know we made the right decision, but we're going in a direction where we've never been before. And at some point, we're going to find ourselves useful for the cause. And then, when you look at the other person from the other side of the fence, you say, well, why did you do this to us? Or, what happened? There's very bad things for whatever reason. It's just you moved up the line. What I'm trying to say is that in a lot of ways, we're at a very pinnacle point in the existence of humanity where not just the things are up for grabs, but the opportunity to get on that trampoline and jumpstart your ascension process from however low you could think yourself of and however much guilt or grief that you might feel for yourself, even undeserving, when you've made the transition to say, okay, well, this is an opportunity rather than just shunning away at the other part of whatever conglomerate that basis of your existence lived on for as long as you've been alive for. That means nothing because this is an ascension path. Like I said earlier, I've been told, hey, just don't worry about the things you were thinking about, how the future is going to turn out. This is different. So I'm taking a step back. No, but I'm reassessing. I'm letting the sails blow the wind wherever they might go instead of just keeping the focus on what I thought was correct. And I was just told, Hey, it's, I mean, it, I won't have to be an old man to see a spacecraft land somewhere, and then say, I told you so. No, it might not have to come to that. It's that simple. It is that the grasp is close enough that you can just almost feel it. Grasp around your fingers where you say, okay, like it's here, right? And you have nothing to worry about because everybody's going to know everything at the same time. The right people are going to know about the right things at the right time where they need to, because these are the things that we're kind of looking at each other in a certain way where there's not a lot of difference between you and I, except that you made the choice of making it better for yourself, and you saw that. Just, you know, have the faith that things are going to go in the way they're supposed to, and you're going to catapult your existence. There's an easy path to go to ascension and just feel enlightened for yourself, and there's a hard path to do it. And the hard path is the easiest path to make a choice to continue your action, but to change your mindset and say, well, let's go this way. It's like putting a cake together, putting it in a batter, and baking it, right, and making it work for you. You're obviously going to you're going to think that maybe that wasn't the right thing at first, and then, oh well, there's the cake, and then you can put the frosting on it now, and you're right, it does look better than you think initially because you have this batter in front of you, right? It's just it's just the way it's gonna happen, and that's how it's gonna be. So I'm holding off on a lot of things, maybe that are like, there's still gonna be things that I think about personally that are going to be happening. But what I thought before is just different, right? Like I'm watching a black and white movie, and then all of a sudden it's just boom, now it's in color. So I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm seeing the same things, but I get a different perception of just how much wider that band has become. So the narrow view of the existence of the things that I would look forward to and ponder about as a possibility or not out in the quantum field has immensely been cracked open. There's been there's been a quantum leap in the way that things are going to be put together for everybody. A longer period of assessment. Like I thought maybe AI um, might have needed to be shut down in one respect or controlled in another, where now I'm thinking, okay, you know what? Now it's not so bad. And really the energy assessment of things that are going on in the world is so vast, so put together that the wave of the human psyche all together at once can move the needle in a bad way where you think that maybe, as an example, AI could be something bad or good, and it's not permanent. It isn't a permanent thing. It can swing either way, one way or another. And as we bring ourselves together as water, I'm a unique drop of water in the world with 9 billion people on this planet who are all still water. But a unique aspect of that droplet is me, it's you, it's everyone else. And, uh, we're going to move within the same ocean, we're going to move within the same depth. We're going to go along with the flow of the current in the riverbeds, and we're going to, as a species, move in synchrony, all of us. Where the core of it all just ripples away from within out to the exterior, and it pulls back in those things that it wanted for itself and brings itself into unity within, and then the expanse of itself out like a breathing lung. And that's how consciousness works, and that's how there's vast millions of consciousness individuals all connected together. So when you have a friend visit you, or you have someone that's um, connected to you in some way, right? This person is an individual droplet of a whole vast consciousness that is his soul connection to his family out there somewhere. You know, outside looking in, we as a species are out there for some too, right? We're not within the confinements of a short distance, right? We're way out, and they see that we are coming together again finally. Now, there is a lot of things that I want to say about how the world's going to separate, and I looked, and I think I have 204 videos. I've said it already. What's going to happen, right? So if you want to learn how to connect to the quantum, it's just tapping into it. It's not impossible. I mean, I put one foot in and one foot out at times, and one foot in and one foot out. Back then, maybe like 10 years ago, when you stepped into outside into the quantum field and you felt that the restraints of the prison planet called Earth 10 years ago were gone, that restraint was lifted, I would immediately get pushed back by negative entities almost right away. I was breaking the current of how it was how was consciousness for us moving. I was breaking that current, and I was significantly hard pushed back to get in line with with the the way how the frequency was at that time. And I'm serious about this, guys. Right? But now I can feel great when I'm in the quantum field, and I can express that in the videos, and I can transmit that to you. And all these words like way shower and all this and that, yeah, but I think that old way of thinking about it is different. People are going to come to you and ask you questions about, hey, why is it that I'm walking in the street and it's just like every person that I can just look at has a bracelet on, right? And you start looking at these weird synchronicities, right? And you start noticing things, and not that anyone's gonna come up to me and asking me about that, but either we have set our mark in the world, everybody in our age range has set that mark, right? And I'll give you an example. That now there's just going to be a burning off that lived through our lifetime, where now it's easier for someone, uh, 10 years younger or 15 years younger to pick up on that kind of new energy that we're burning off and burning away. Like all the people in New Mexico that used to go and used to drive, used to think these guys are nuts, with the new, UFO thing and the hats and their little stores and the crap. And now I was thinking like, okay, unrecognizable to the naked eye. Then now you're thinking, all right, well, what? Can you tell me more about? Can you tell me that story again? You told me. Now, I want to hear it again, so that you're comfortable. because you've had someone mention it before. Just like I'm mentioning all the things in my videos. I personally prefer to put a pause and a hold for me on a lot of things because I already see people that are saying the things that I thought I wanted to say. And I didn't say it. And then I'm like, I feel great. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, all right. I don't feel like I'm talking to myself in these videos, at least for once. I feel like it's brought itself full circle, where it feels like a redundant way of thinking, but not in a bad way. Just that, okay, good. Like, I can definitely say more now than before, and then have a younger crowd pick up on those things and move on. As a younger person kind of just starts to take hold of the things, understand the past, but then apply a future preference to that, because you can still see people that live with the mindset where there's lack. If you live in a mindset where you're thinking that there's not enough for everyone, then that's the kind of world you're going to present yourself to. That's the kind of person. I walk into a establishment and I see this individual here, and immediately I just get this vibe where there's just like, oh gosh, they think the world's they're waiting for the next pandemic. Like, you can see that they're just like triggered in that way where they're waiting for this, and they feel heavy set. They're weighing you down, right? They're not at a level where you can understand that there's just so much more. So the shock and awe is going to come for those people that don't have a firm belief in anything that's not a creator for themselves. But those that do believe in a creator on this planet are just not going to be able to adapt to the fact that there's other life out there. And then how is that going to be explained in simple terms so that it can continue? So the world's going to separate. People are going to have different mindsets within your community. They're going to have different thoughts. You're going to tell the difference between, and I don't mean like politics kind of different. I mean like belief systems different. Not where you are what it's not going to be like. It's like like X-Men the movie, where distinctively you want to be a mutant but you don't want anyone else to find out you're a mutant or something like that. Like that kind of difference, but still co-inhabiting and coexisting with those that are just people that don't believe or refuse to accept the newest things that are coming out there, which are usually just things that people are not going to want to think about. They're not going to want to be in a place where that's being said or spoken of. So they'll just restrict or confine themselves to what they believe to be true. And that's perfectly fine. But the future of humanity is always to move forward. The things that I knew that were going to be true for me were the TV just turned off. The things that I knew that for me were going to be true was that the things that I'd say on my channel were going to be watered down or debunked. So there's people just waiting for me to say something about what's going to happen, that are just sitting there. They're going to try and like, oh no, that's not true, or look at this, that's not true, oh that, or whatever, whichever way you can find a way to tell anyone that I'm not being truthful in the things that I do best. And there was something else, I forgot. So I'm not gonna say anything that's going to rattle any cages for the time being, but it is said and spoken of that I know that is a big possibility. So let's talk about our friends and when are they coming. How are we going to accept all that? I have a good idea, I think, of what might be going on. I have a good idea. I'm not gonna say anything, but I can already tell. I have an idea of what how it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be progressive. It's gonna be fast. It's gonna happen quickly. The 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 process of it rolling down a hill is heavy, but then once it start picking up steam, it's just gonna keep going and going and going and going until you're just gonna, you're just gonna hear people say stuff that you understand. Oh, oh, okay, whoa, look at that, right? Uh, I don't know, Christmas light show or something. Now that we don't have much presence in our skies because they don't like war, so they're gone. I will say this, and this has always happened. It's not because I'm saying it, it's something that's expected every single time going forward when I mention this. But when the Pleiades are closest to the planet, which is around late October through Christmas, I think, in like early January or February or something like that. I can't remember. I do know that around Christmas time, it's a, we're furthest away from the sun that we're that much closer to the Pleiades. That feeling that you've been missing, that everyone's just wondering what's going on, why we don't have that anymore. Where did it go? Where's that? Why does it feel like something just kind of left me? It's because there's all those ships are gone, and they were radiating their beautiful energy to every one of us, and that's why you feel this void in you. Feeling the void of missing something for some, it's empowering. Excuse me. It empowers those that have the ability to live off or negative energy, so they feel slightly empowered at this time. But most, if not half of the planet, is saying, "All right, where did that go? What happened? Why isn't it here? Why does everything just feel faded, bland, colorless, without any emotion or feeling to anything? Any little thing you might want to think about, anything, right? Like you just feel like there's just this slight faintness to reality in that way, right? You feel that. I do. Either way, though, usually around the Pleiades are around and closest to us in the skies around that time of the Christmas is when you'll feel a burst of energy sent, like they do every single time. Not because I'm saying that you get that, but it'll happen for you when you'll be able to get this pulse now once a year, or maybe sooner because they're not gonna be back anytime soon. I don't think so. I'm gonna cut the video short for now. I updated the channel name and I did a couple of tweaks here and there to just move on with the times. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will give more when I feel like I can let all this kind of blow over and move on with the things that matter. Now is not a good time to project an event that hasn't happened yet because it won't be accurate. The template set down, this is a watershed moment. It's just like somebody just turning from black and white to color, and you're just like, whoa. It's amazing. Thank you guys.